Hi, my name is Vlad and you are watching Civita channel. Here we cover migration issues and explain complex things in simple words. Let's go! Today we have a very interesting topic, which is especially useful for those who are just planning their trip to Ukraine. So we'll talk about the initial step, getting a visa to Ukraine. I'm going to tell you what visa types exist, where and how to apply for a visa, how much it costs, and what documents you need. As of now, there are three types of Ukrainian visas. Short-term visas, type C. They can also be issued electronically as e-visas. Long-term visas, type D. And for transit purposes, visa of type B are issued. All regular visas are formalized through applications at the Ukrainian consulates or at special visa centers, which in fact simply serve as contractors who just nicely package your documents and transfer them to the consulate. And of course make you pay a fee for their service. But the decision about your visa is made by the Ukrainian consular officer. Remember, as it is important to understand, there is no such visa that allows you to stay in Ukraine longer than 90 days at a time. It means that regardless of visa type, you cannot stay in Ukraine, for example, 92 days continuously, only with the visa. However, the period throughout which you're allowed to use those days may vary. It can be 6 months or a year or even more. Let's make a clear distinction between the validity of the visa itself and the permitted duration of stay. A visa as a document can be valid, for example, a year or two or even more. The validity period of your visa is indicated on the line at the top of the visa. Pay attention, it does not mean that you can stay in Ukraine throughout all that time. The line permitted period of stay will tell you how many days during the validity period of your visa you can actually be in Ukraine. For example, 30 days or 1 week. So, a short-term or tourist visa of type C, single, two-time or multiple entry to Ukraine, may be granted with this type of visa. For instance, you get such a visa, let's say with a 65 days permitted period of stay, with a single entry. This means that if you come to Ukraine with this visa, stay 1 week, you won't be able to use this visa once again, regardless of the fact that you didn't use all of your permitted 65 days and that your visa remains valid for another year. In this case, the fact that it was issued for single entry prevails. You will need another visa to come again. So, think carefully about the period you need to spend in Ukraine and how many times you may want to enter with the visa you apply for. Next, there are 17 grounds for issuing a short-term visa. Here they are, but only a few of them are commonly used. Namely, CO1 visas are issued to those traveling to Ukraine on business purpose, like for negotiations, establishing contacts, purchasing business goods, equipment, signing contracts, etc. It is important to understand that a visa does not give you the right to work in Ukraine. For those purposes, you need to obtain a job permit. But that's a whole different story. We'll discuss that in our next video. Visa CO2, private purpose of the visit. In fact, it can be anything. But as a rule, this type of visa implies visiting friends and relatives. So, in this case, you will need a notarized invitation from a person you are visiting. At the same time, it is not required that this person should be only a citizen of Ukraine. It can be anybody, including the other foreigner, for example, with the residence permit. Visa CO6, tourism. Here you may have, for example, a contract with the travel agency, or you may be traveling on your own. Again, it is important to show that you have already been somewhere, that you have visas to other countries, you are prepared for your trip, you booked a hotel, you know your itinerary. There is a simple rule that works at all times when it comes down to visas. The more supporting information you provide to the consular officer, the more chances you have to get a positive result as to your visa. Type D visas, the so-called long-term ones, although it's pretty rough calling it so. The notion of this visa type implies that upon arrival with this visa, a foreigner will proceed with formalizing a temporary or permanent residence permit, which in turn will allow him to stay in Ukraine more than 90 days. However, all D-type visas are valid for 90 days and allow multiple entries. Visa D is needed for processing documents for citizens of almost all countries, even for citizens of Germany, the United States and Canada. So yes, despite the fact that they can enter Ukraine for a short-term purpose without a C visa, they will still need a D visa if they plan to receive a residence permit in Ukraine. That's for sure. It's just impossible to formalize any kind of residence permit without a D visa. The Migration Service of Ukraine simply won't accept your application. Type B visas or transit visas. It is unlikely you encounter with this type of visa in real life. It's mostly for drivers or other personnel who go through Ukraine in transit. Therefore, the period of stay on such visas is only 5 days. Why it is important to understand what type of visa you need? Firstly, because it depends on the purpose of your trip, what package of documents you should prepare, and that will be a key question to you from the consul regarding your purpose for travel. Like, why do you need to go to Ukraine? To see or meet whom? For how long? When you'll be back? Do you have enough money for the trip? And so on. Secondly, the same question will arise again at the Ukrainian border crossing checkpoint. There, the border guard will look at your visa and ask you the same question, the purpose of your visit and so on. If you are planning to apply for a temporary or permanent residence permit, then the type of visa, as well as the indicated there the purpose of travel, will be extremely important. After all, it will be almost impossible to change your visa type while you are in Ukraine. If you are interested in the main reasons for visa denials, let me know in the comments. This is a really whole separate topic. Also in the future, we may discuss the procedure for appealing a visa denial. In any case, let me know whether this topic is interesting to you at all. Now, as to e-visas, it looks like this. Well, citizens of these almost 50 countries can enjoy such bonuses as e-visas, and that's about 4 billion people of the planet. The main benefit of e-visa is that you do not need to go to the consulate in person to apply for it. You can submit your papers while lying on the couch. Your visa will be sent to you via email. Then you just print it and go. As for the charges for e-visa, it is just about $20, which means it is very easy and cheap to try to get e-visa. Let's get back to the exceptions for D visa. There are 7 countries: Russia, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Moldova, Armenia, Georgia, Belarus, whose citizens do not need any visa at all to visit Ukraine. Even visa D. Everyone else needs a visa D, as we discussed earlier. Speaking of the cost, unfortunately, Ukraine takes a very short-sighted position here. For example, visa D01 is an immigration visa, and for British citizens it costs $1,870. Not bad, huh? And if we are talking about processing it through expedited procedure, then we multiply this amount by 2. It turns out to be $3,740. Where do I find all this information? We go to MFA Ukraine, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, English page, then Consular Affairs, Entry and Stay of Foreigners in Ukraine, Visa information, and visa fees. Maybe it's not very easy to find. So, 65 is the basic visa fee,
and $20 basic, like single entry electronic visa. Double entry $30. Very cheap, I think. You can see a table here. There is a country, type of visa, visa B, for example, which are not very interesting for us. Visas type C for single, double, and multiple entry, and long-term visas type D. For citizens of Afghanistan, there is no option of $65 fee, like 85 is the minimum. And if you happen to be like an investor from Afghanistan, you pay $1,000 for investor visa, no matter what. For Australia, for example, you don't need any kind of visa for short-term visits. For visa C, no needed, but you need a visa D, which costs $385, almost $400. For Belgium, $622 for employment, work permit, volunteer activities, etc. So quite a sum. For Denmark, $600, $1,000 family reunion. So check it out. For Germany, for example, no visa needed, and they pay 0 fee for D visa. They still need it. Yeah, they will have to get it, but they don't have to pay anything for that. So you can check your country here and find out whether you need to pay something or not. For Pakistan, visa C is like multiple entry. It's $400 for private invitation, $600 for business invitation, and for D visa, employment, job permit, like $600. For United Kingdom, if it's immigration, DO1 visa, it's $2,000. If you're an investor from United Kingdom, it's $2,212. So like, if you want to make it fast, you pay double rate, double fee, and that would be like $4,424 just for nothing, just for a visa. You still didn't make any investments, but you already pay this amount. Quite a sum. So think twice about like getting a visa, about making some investments. But like, it's important that you know that there is such a table, and you can check everything here. Quite easy to find.
Adjudicating period. As for the consideration of your visa application, it normally takes up to 10 working days, meaning 2 weeks. Expedited procedure may help you to get it within 5 working days, 2 times faster. But, and this is a major but, you pay double consular fee for expedited processing. That is, if the usual visa fee is $65, then the double rate is $130. When the processing time is over, you will receive either a visa or a leaflet with information on the refusal as to your visa. Don't forget that you can write a comment with your specific question, and I would be glad to answer them. See the description below. Please like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. There are many interesting things ahead. Bye!